So, welcome to the podcast. We have some questions from the Ternopil Window on America, the interactive English course run by Christina Janowska. She asked her students to ask me some questions. I think we wanted to call it Mackie Knows Best, but that seems a little self-indulgent. Anyways, we'll figure out that later on. Let's get to the questions they sent in. First was, how do schools work in the USA? It's kind of a broad question, but I can tell you about my experiences in school. So I grew up in California. For elementary school, I went to a school called J.H. McGaw Elementary School. It's actually a very big elementary school, bigger than most American elementary schools. So elementary school is for young kids, maybe from ages 5 to around 10 or 11. But my school in particular used to be a high school, which meant it used to be for older kids. And even for a high school, it was big. It had 4 baseball fields, indoor basketball gym, an Olympic-sized swimming pool, and a smaller swimming pool, as well as a full auditorium for like plays and musicals, and probably about maybe 300, like a pretty good amount of classrooms. I don't remember exactly how many kids went there, but I went there from when I was 5 years old in kindergarten to 5th grade, which is how far school went up there. So that was about 10 or 11. And each grade you get one teacher, and that one teacher, the elementary school teacher, basically just teaches you all the basic subjects from English to basic math, some basic history, and you have PE, which is physical education. You'll go out and get some exercise and do that, and there's lunch. Kids usually, you could either bring your own lunch or you'd buy lunch at school. I pretty much got lunch from my parents every day. You start school around maybe 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and you usually end around, I think I remember it specifically ending at 2:15 in the afternoon. And then after that, you go to middle school or junior high school, and it's either 2 or 3 years long. It's either 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, or it's 7th and 8th grade. And the middle school that I went to, my family moved in between, so I went to a new school district in a different part of California. For my 7th and my 8th grade, it was called Parks Junior High School. And there it sort of changes. You get a schedule with different teachers. So this is the first time when it's more like how you would have in colleges, or it becomes more advanced because you're taking specific subjects. There were about, I took 7 different subjects. I'm not sure if I don't think I took any languages yet. I took a math. I think it was algebra. I did choir singing. I did English. You take English every single year. I did basic programming and history. I remember I liked history a lot. And let's see, after 8th grade, you graduate and you go to high school. And where I was from, they had a thing called open enrollment, which meant that you were allowed to go to any high school in the region. And you could take a test and specifically get into different programs that were associated with each high school. So each high school had like a specialty, and the one I went to had a big focus on computer programming and the sciences, which is strange because when I went there, I mean, I tried those programs and they're very advanced, but way more advanced than I was prepared for. So I ended up not really doing too much of them, but I still graduated with that specialty. They called it the Troy Tech program. I still got the diploma for meeting the requirements, but I didn't learn programming or anything of that sort. But I would say it was a better education than usual. And the same thing in junior high school. When you go to high school, you choose which classes you take, and you'll get different teachers for each subject. And of course, sports is important in high school, American high schools. I played basketball for 3 years, and yeah, it can be a lot when you're studying and you have practices. It can be a lot for when you're young. Yeah, that's how I would say schools work in the U.S. And then the next question is a logical progression, I suppose. Second question goes, how do universities work in the USA? Do you have a lot of subjects that are not really important for your future profession? So the first part, I can answer that by saying I have done in my undergraduate degree at the University of California, Santa Cruz, and I got a degree in history there, and I did my master's degree at the University of North Carolina. It was kind of a special program, but I'll go into that after kind of answering the second part, which is subjects that are not really important for your future profession. So when you're doing a humanities degree, which I did, kind of means, more specifically, it would be called a liberal arts degree. It means that you're trying to get a well-rounded educational background. At least that's the philosophy behind it. Certainly when I went into college, I felt it should have been more specific, but I had to take a lot of different courses in Santa Cruz, which they felt like it was developing the person that should come out of the school. I don't necessarily think that it works that way, where they'll give you specific curriculum, specific classes, and they'll create the type of person that they want. But I think it can be helpful for a lot of the kids who go into school and they don't know what their profession will be. I didn't go into school knowing what profession I wanted to have. So in a way it helped, although I didn't really think about what profession I wanted until I got to a class called, it was a Model It was called Model United Nations, and the professor I had, she showed that she really cared. She spent time with me and talked to me about what my interests were and what I wanted to do with my life. Not in such a philosophical sense, but just what am I interested? What do you like doing? Her name was Professor Dina Roberson. I'm not sure if she's still teaching there, but I was in contact with her for a while. And she'd always been that little bit was really what kind of pushed me to do more and really thought that it was worthwhile studying. Yeah. But I guess to answer your question, how do universities work? If you get a liberal arts degree in undergrad, you're going to be taking a lot of different subjects. You might not use a lot of what you're learning in your future profession. But when you get to the next level, when you're doing a master's degree or you're getting a higher level degree or some sort of specialized degree, then you're definitely going to be focusing in a lot more on subjects that are going to be very interesting to you or important for you to be taking and know in your future professions. What are the most popular holidays in the USA? It's question number 3 from a student of interactive English in Ternopil. I'd say probably the most popular ones are Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, Independence Day, July 4th, and what else? Probably New Year's, January 1st. My favorite is Thanksgiving. I like just the sentiment of it, and it's kind of devoid of any pressure in a sense that if you are choosing who you're going to be with, not necessarily when you're young, but once you get older, you're giving thanks. It's like, oh, who am I thankful for? Who do I want to spend time with? Even if it can't be with, who you're most thankful to be with, the people that are around you at the time, you can show and tell them what you're thankful of and what you're grateful that they do for you. So I think it has a good message. Okay, and the last question, number 4. What cars are actually the most popular in the USA and especially in California? So whoever asked this question knows that I'm from California. Let's see. I actually got this question from a guy who was a driver who works for BlaBlaCar. He asked me, does everyone have big cars in the U.S.? Do they all have SUVs or trucks? I would say definitely more people in the U.S. have bigger cars than elsewhere in the world, especially things like SUVs and trucks. I know that Ford F-150s and Dodge Rams, the big full-size trucks, I think if you put those all together, those are the most popular cars in the U.S. In California, probably a little bit different. We have there's a lot of incentives. Like the government gives money for people to buy electric cars or more gas-efficient cars. So Priuses are very popular. There's a lot of Teslas are quite popular now, and really small Japanese sedans, so like little 4-door cars, are really popular. And in Ukraine, they would be considered normal sized cars, like a Toyota Corolla or a Honda Civic, the Ford Focus, those kind of cars, which are normal sized cars you'd have in Ukraine. Those are on the smaller end in the US, but those are very common in California as well. Yeah. Cars are something that are really important also to Americans. It's kind of part of who you are, an expression of what kind of person you are. Even for people who aren't car people, like people kind of know that it's a extension of you, and whatever you're driving kind of says something about you, whether you like it or not. And a lot of people like to show off their personality through cars. So you'll see a lot of customization of cars, and that's something that's really popular in the U.S. that might be a little bit different than in Ukraine. Yeah. So that's it. I hope to hear more questions and do more of these in the future. I hope I spoke clearly enough and you could understand me. So yeah, thank you for your questions. Ternopil Window on America, interactive English class. I hope to speak with you guys again soon.